I'm back. So today we have chosen another recipe out of my vintage recipe box that I picked up at an estate sale, and it is for sour cream fudge. Now, today's recipe is a little light on instructions, so we're gonna make it up as we go based on my past experience with fudge, see how it goes. So we're gonna use sugar, sour cream, light corn syrup, butter, vanilla, and then chocolate chips, because you can make this not chocolate and just make it sour cream fudge, or you can make it chocolate. I personally think chocolate's the way to go. All right, so we're gonna start off by, it says combine 1 through 4. So I'm assuming 1 through 4 are the sugar, sour cream, corn syrup, and butter. So we're gonna start there. So we're gonna pour in our sugar. Also, I pre-measured everything today, so you don't have to watch me sift through the bags and do all the things. I'm learning. All right, then we're gonna add our sour cream. Half a cup of sour cream. I'm sacrificing here and I'm gonna wash a lot of dishes. Not real excited about that, but it is what it is. All right, a 1/3 cup of light corn syrup. Stuff is sticky. Might not ever come off this measuring cup. All right. And then 2 tablespoons of butter. Now, we're going to cook that to a soft boil for 236 degrees. Now, I've never measured or took a temperature reading on anything that I cooked, so I'm not gonna start today. Hopefully I can recognize what a soft boil is. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna let this come to a boil. Check back in with you in a minute. All right, I have a feeling this is gonna go fast. It's melting quite nicely together. It looks really dry when you put it in the pan, like maybe that's not enough liquid, but it's proving to be just fine. I will say, in my experience with fudge before, it doesn't say this on the recipe. It's something you want to keep stirring. You could easily burn your sugar. So I would recommend stirring it the whole time. So I think we're getting pretty close to this soft boil. You can feel it's starting to kind of thin out. The sugar feels less granular in there. And I bet if I stopped stirring, we'd start to see some boiling. Or not. See? I don't know what I'm doing. Why are you even watching this? All right, looks to be lightly boiling now, so we're gonna call that. I'm gonna go ahead and remove it from the heat. All right, so I removed it from the heat. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the chocolate chips. The recipe doesn't tell me when to add those. Now seems appropriate. And then a teaspoon of vanilla. Also, while I was boiling that, I asked Siri to tell me what a soft boil was to see if I could get a picture. Don't do that. It's not something you want to see. And when you say soft boil cooking, it just shows you eggs. So, I don't know. Maybe soft boil is not a baking term, but it's used in this recipe. All right, so I'm just gonna mix this up here. It's not mixing super well. The chocolate chips are super thick. In the recipe, it says you can also use 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder instead of 2 cups of chocolate chips. Also, 2 cups of chocolate chips is basically a bag of chocolate chips. Things I didn't know until today. Once we get this all stirred up, and we let it sit and cool, and then we mix it again, and then it has to go in the fridge. So it's gonna take a while for this to cool down, so I'll check back in with you, let you know how that's going. All right, it's still cooling, but I can't help it, so I'm tasting it. It tastes like really sweet chocolate chips. I think fudge is more about the consistency and the texture. So we'll see how that works. I've never made it with sour cream. I've never heard of anybody making it with sour cream, which is why I chose this recipe. Is that something you guys have seen? Is it like a thing they did in the 80s, 90s? I don't know. Seemed kind of weird to me, so I thought we'd try it. So far, it tastes like really sweet chocolate chips. We'll go from there. Okay, so I've let it cool about 15, 20 minutes. I don't want it to get too hard to not be able to get out of the pan. So here's what it's looking like. I'm going to stir it up a little bit just to get some of the crackles that have formed on the top mixed back in and remelted. And then I'm going to pour it in a 8x8 pan that I foiled. And it says to butter, but I just put Pam spray in it. Hopefully that works. I didn't have any soft enough butter to do it. So hopefully that'll work. It does not call to foil the pan, but I've messed with fudge before and I don't want to mess with it. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in this pan. Also, sorry if you can hear loud noises in the background. We are in a major storm right now and the rain is hitting hard. All right. So I'm just gonna put it in this pan, push it down with my spatula, pop it in the fridge. On the directions, it doesn't even say. It doesn't say how long. So I'm gonna put it in the fridge for at least a couple of hours, probably more like 3 hours. And then we'll cut it and taste it. It's probably why I don't make fudge very often or anything that requires chilling. I don't like to wait. Seems like anticlimactic to me. I just did all this work. Not that this was a lot of work, but I just did all this work and now I have to wait. Okay, it's time. Maybe. It's been about 2.5 hours. Seems to be pretty firm. So we're gonna try a little bite straight out of the pan. Sorry, hubby is unavailable to try the fudge today. It tastes like fudge. Well, the texture is good. It's very, very sweet. Probably get harder the longer it's in the fridge, I would think. It was an easy way to make fudge. Not a ton of recipes. Didn't need a thermometer. Didn't need to do anything fancy. So overall, I guess it's a win, but it tastes like fudge.